In this video tutorial, I'm going to teach you simplified method of cutting Ankara pencil skirts. Pencil skirts are two-panel skirts which are usually tight, narrow garments, usually having a slit at the back to allow easy movement. We firstly insert all of the vertical measurements, which is your waist from your waistline to your hemline. Our skirt length is 40 inches, so we are measuring the skirt length first with your waistline to your hemline. Then the second measurement we shall be doing after the waistline is the hemline. The hemline, we are using the base of the fabric. The next one is our hip line, which is 9 inches away from the waistline. The next is our crotch line. Our crotch line is 11 inches from the waistline. And the next is 17 inches from the waistline, which is our knee line. But we're using our lower thigh line. That's to represent our knee line. When we are done with the vertical lines, the next thing we do is to insert our horizontal measurement on the vertical lines. So our hip measurement is 36, our waist measurement is 30. So we are going to be dividing them by 4. So when we get divided by 4, that is our hips become 9 6 inches, and our waist become we add 0.5. So we add 8 on the waist, which making it 8, 10, and he's 9.5 inches. Then the waist, we are dividing it by 4. It becomes 9.5. 7.5. We add 0.5 is, which make it 8. Then we insert it on the hip line, on the waistline. So properly now we're inserting it. We are inserting the waist measurement on the waistline. We are going to insert 8. Then we add 1 inches to it. That which make for the dart, which make it 9. We insert that on that. Then we put allowance, sewing allowance of 1 inches, or you can make it 0.5. It all depends on how the method you use in sewing. Then on the hip line, you also do that same measurement on the knee line. The measurement you're going to be using on the knee line is your waist measurement, which is 9 inches. On the hip line, you're inputting your hip measurement, then add the same allowance to it, then connect. This is how you are going to get it. So this is basically this is how you're getting it. Then the hemline. On the hemline, you're going to make use of your waist measurement as well. You know this is a pencil skirt, so it's going to be slim downward. That's why they call it pencil. So towards the end, it's going to be a bit slim. So this is your front pattern. But remember that the front is only this is the basic. Remember that the front is usually smaller than the back by 2 inches. So at the end of the day today, you are going to be removing 1 inch from the hip side. It's only on the hip side you are going to alter. So now the next thing we are doing is to do the back. So at the edge of the folded fabric, we are going to be coming in by 1 inch, which is your zipper allowance. Then you can as well, what you just did is put the back pattern, the front pattern on this particular piece of fabric, then trace it out. So the difference is going to be, part of the difference is going to be the waistline. On the waistline, it will be increasing by 0.5 inches. On the hip line, it will be increasing by 1 inches. Then on the knee line, at the other part of towards the zipper part, you're going to be going in by 1 inches. So that will be the big difference. So the back pattern, like I told you before, it's usually bigger than the front pattern because of the back side. So what you're going to do now is that you're going to effect those changes. Put that changes on the hip line and on the crotch line. Anything you do, you're putting on the hip line and the crotch line. The essence of putting the crotch line is for you to get a perfect curve so that you not get a sharp curve. So this is what we are doing now. Now then you go in towards that knee line, you go in by 1 inch. So if you are coming in by 1 inch, then you curve it out. So that's where the bottom is going to sit on. So you'll see that if you're cutting it, what you're going to do is you're going to shape it so that it will come this way. So by the time we'll be cutting it, we'll also return it so that it will go back it will just be only the seat. It's just for the bottom to sit on. So this is your back pattern. Then on this place, while cutting, I'm going to affect the 0.5 inches at the waistline, of which is not shown in this diagram. So we proceed down to cutting out the traced pattern, which represents our back pattern. So we are going to cut it out. So what we are going to do is that we are going to tear because it's on fold, and you remember that it's for zipper allowance. Then at that curvy part, we are going to bring out the shape the more, then cut it out. So this is going to represent your back pattern. You've gotten your back pattern. So the next stage you have to do is we get back to the front pattern and cut out the excesses at the hip line. We are going to be reducing it, like I told you before, you are going to be reducing it by 1 inch. You come in 1 inch inward, then connect with the waist. The waistline is still going to remain constant. Then connect back to the knee line, then cut it out. So this will be our back pattern. Always remember that your slit level, it all depends on how you want it. Your slit level is going to come down up to your knee line, or you can make it a little bit lower, depending on how you want it. There are different methods of slit you can use. This is partly all about pencil skirts. So if you desire, you can decide to add lining to it.